welcome to a Cockney Watchdog cast, aka Two Dogs and the Truth, a long overdue Cockney Watchdog retrospective. Zaz, why don't you tell the good people what we're talking about today?
We are discussing the O'Leary's album, which is the prequel to the Cockney Watchdogs album.
I believe we did that in the last episode.
Oh, sorry, it's the Royal CD. It's the King's Royal CD, which is a prequel to CW1.
Yeah.
More 90s stuff. Is 97, 98, I would say.
I believe this was recorded in 1999, in Brain Quarter Studio 6. And the reason why, if we look at the CD cover, which maybe you'd like to describe, it's a photo that I took during my first trip to the United States in the summer of 1999.
Yes. However, this album cover could have been made like 2 or 3 years after the tape.
It certainly could.
I think I made this picture, and I think it probably came later.
Interesting.
So I'm sticking to 98.
98 I can give you. Some of the hardware on here, such as the 4-track machine I used and the drum machine, were purchased around that era. So 98, 99, I'll give you. What are the people looking at?
A picture of a stadium, Chicago.
El Paso, Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Right, I didn't know that. And then surrounded smaller pictures of you doing some sort of squirrel thing. There's like 5 of you, and then there's like 2 of me, and then some Lisa the rabbits just sort of dotted around. It was all done on paint. And it says Brenq, and then Archers at the bottom, and King Nathan's.
And the original title was the King's Royal CD, and it had King Brendan, King Nathan, and also Queen Lisa. Tell us of Queen Lisa. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah, Queen Lisa, the rabbit. She was a pet rabbit that I had as a child, named actually after Lisa Simpson, which wasn't actually my idea. It was our father's idea, I think. And yeah, Lisa, she had a good run. She had about 8 years in her. She was a house rabbit, and she used to live in the kitchen.
I remember she got under the shed one time, and I remember having to crawl under the shed to try and get her out, which we successfully did.
I do not remember that.
She had a good run for a rabbit, so rest in peace, Queen Lisa. But we're still here, woof woof. Why don't we start by having a listen to the first track on the album?
Let's do it.
This is available on Bandcamp, now owned by Epic Games.
Nice.
So what we heard there was a cover of Strawberry Fields Forever by the Beatles, played by Dave Grenfell, my mate. So actually, the first song on our album is an instrumental that was played by somebody else. And I had a little keyboard that had a 1-second sample. It was this weird, you could sample 1 second of sound and then you could play it up and down the keyboard, but that's all it did. And I think that's you saying Strawberry Fields Forever that is then played by Dave on the keyboard.
I see. I thought my first note was about that keyboard, that it will be prevalent in the first 3 Cockney Watchdogs albums.
It got a lot of play for sure.
I didn't know it was Dave Grenfell until you told me the other day. I don't think. Oh, I did. I'd forgotten about it.
Dave's still out there somewhere. He did make an appearance on a more recent album, 2018's Smith's Covers LP. Dave appeared on that. Did a very good
Wasn't
version.
he also in that Willy Wonka movie?
He was an extra in the Johnny Depp Willy Wonka movie, apparently, but I've never been able to see him. So, Dave, if you're listening, let us know. He is a very good songwriter. Dave wrote a lot of really funny songs.
This is a cover, though.
He didn't write Strawberry Fields Forever, no, but I have just So Together's completely banned right from the start. I play an instrumental version of what the Beatles one sounds like. Dave did a good job, I think, of capturing that vibe.
I prefer ours.
You can't really knock the Beatles version, to be honest, but I think ours has a certain charm.
I think Lennon and Harrison specifically would also like ours.
So Lennon wrote Strawberry Fields, but it was only, I think, when they brought it in the studio that I think it came to life, and probably a lot of McCartney's ideas thrown in the keyboard and stuff. But the next song is a song called Atlantis Morissette. What do you remember about this one?
I kind of remember a decent amount of some of these. Like, I remember writing this down on a piece of paper. I also wrote that I'm still in Studio 6 Brenkwater right now.
Let's have a listen. You are literally right now still in Studio 6 Brenkwater, where I have moved overseas to Studio 7 or maybe 8.
Yeah.
I am King Nathan, and behind me is King Brennan on the guitar clapping us, and I will be singing and playing the bongo drums, whatever they're called. And we are at Brenkwater Studio 6. And this song is called Atlantis Morissette, and you may see it on our CD when it comes out.
Might well indeed.
Come again.
Indian Man Zaz.
Yeah, I also like that.
Indian Man Zaz.
Atlantis, you truly are king. Morissette, you truly are king. Atlantis, you whisper stuff from your robot lungs. Now, baby, tell me it's just a rumor. Atlantis Morissette. Woo, woo. Atlantis Morissette. Edison, make genius. You Windsor, make Atlantis Morissette. Atlantis Morissette. Atlantis, you genius. You Windsor, make go like Thomas Edison. Make lumps of pure green, but like the white things, I bet even you peed on your leg sometimes.
Exactly.
Fucking Zaz intro. Indian Man Zaz. We got bongos, we got guitars, we got Zaz singing in a falsetto, harmony vocals, chord progressions. Come on, this is a great leap forward for the Watchdogs.
Yeah, I've put opening with a classic. It's the telltale sign of a good album is 30 seconds of exposition from a 9-year-old at the start of the song. And I also noted that you just don't get performances like that anymore, but from me. Was it on purpose that I said Atlantis, or was it I just keep saying it incorrectly?
I think it's incorrect because later you introduced the song and you referenced the Wesley Willis song Atlantis Morissette, which of course is... So I'm going to play the Wesley Willis song that inspired this.
You are a rock star. You are a rock legend to the max. You can really knock it out. You can really whoop a horse's ass. Atlantis Morissette. Atlantis Morissette. Atlantis Morissette. Atlantis Morissette.
Rest in peace, Wesley Willis. So it was Wesley Willis' greatest hits, which inspired me. And that places this after I went to the States, because I got that CD of Wesley Willis in America. I think I'd heard of him before, but I think I got that CD. But tell me it's just a soppy waffle.
I haven't heard that for quite some time, I don't think. I forgot that existed. We did redo this, though, didn't we, on CW1? I feel like there's more of this song that I remember that I didn't hear in this.
I don't think so. I think we did Atlantis once, but who knows? We'll come back and have a look. Make gold like Thomas Edison. Make lumps of pure green, but like the wise kings, I bet even you pee down your legs sometimes.
Because I wrote that as my favourite. I've noted my favourite line from each song.
It's inspired.
That was what was the deal with the songwriting at this point? Was I doing anything?
Yeah, that some of that's you and some of that's me, I think, in many of these, but there's some that I wrote the whole thing for, but not many. I think most of them you're throwing in. I think it's 50-50. I think it's a straight up 50-50 ride. Because make go like Thomas Edison, lumps of pure green is mine, and then I bet even you, Sir Lancelot pizza delivery, I think is yours, but who knows?
It is, but it's a very strange line.
Maybe
I'd like to see what my references are.
Maybe I curated it. So Sir Lancelot pizza delivery was down on the near Nana's house on the estate in Plattbridge. It was a pizza delivery company.
Oh, I see. I did not remember that.
Woodcock Drive. Yeah, down Woodcock Drive estate. Here, lumps of pure green is a Blackadder.
Oh, Percy, it's green.
That's right, my lord.
Yes, Percy, I don't want to be pedantic or anything, but the colour of gold is gold. That's why it's called gold. What you have discovered, if it has a name, is some green.
A nugget of purest green.
So a lot of Blackadder references early on, but no Mr. Ben references so far.
No, and no Simpsons, which is why I thought it was earlier than 99.
Yeah. Well,
the most telling thing of my cultural awareness comes in a later song anyway, so I'll get back to that.
Yeah, I think I was putting in a lot of stuff here. Another reference that places it in the next song is the reference to Big Baby Jesus, aka the ODB's first album, Nephew Please.
Please. Yeah, I never watched Blackadder.
Oh, it's a great show. So the third song was Mr. Sweetman, and this is the first one I think that has samples. So I brought a 4-track machine, which is why you keep hearing bits of Crowded House and stuff that I've used other tapes for. We've got some keyboards and I think Dr. Sample had arrived on the scene at this point, so we start to hear samples coming in. Let's have a listen to Mr. Sweetman.
Mr. Sweetman, has a big fat marshmallow head. Hey, Mr. Sweetman, people are waiting up and down the West Bank for the birth of big baby Jesus. Sweetman! Mr. Sweetman with the marshmallow head. Jesus is going to die in the future and come back in bread form. Hey, Sweetman, why are you running up and down the hospital corridors? Mr. Sweetman with the marshmallow head. Your body burned the frying pan. You killed Jesus! Wah, wah, wah!
Oh, good. some
Jesus is mentioned, the first mention of Jesus, which will recur for some reason. Again, probably from my frame of references of things as a child, I was aware of Jesus. Mr. Sweetman is definitely my concept, I would say, because it's not the most creative.
So people are waiting up and down the West Bank for the birth of the big baby Jesus. I think that's unlikely to have come from an 8-year-old.
Yeah, no, that's not.
Jesus is going to die in the future and come back in bread form. You kill Jesus, wah, wah, wah.
You made Jesus come back in toast form.
And what I do like about this album is there's a lot of laughing on there.
Yeah, there's one that just ends with me laughing, isn't there, and making you say the same thing again because it makes me laugh.
There's some hysterical laughing in there, and not as much tension as from the O'Leary's LP. Although there is one running with our mother towards the end of one song.
It's my favourite part of the album, I think. I do remember designing Mr. Sweetman as well. I can see it in my head, so I'll try and redesign him for this.
Nice, I'd like to see that.
He was essentially a knockoff version of the Licorice All Sorts guy.
Oh yeah, Bertie Bassett.
Yeah, it's that one. My favourite line from this one was, I didn't hear the Jesus in the future in bread form, but hey, Sweetman, why are you running up and down the hospital corridor?
I think that might be a reference to Dr. Octagon, the rapper, Kill Keith, and he had something about there's a horse in the hospital, and maybe. But let's have a listen to the Dr. Octagon is not Dr. Octopus, but I'm sure there was some reference to it. It's a great Cool Keith album. But here, let's have a listen to the ODB song, Old Dirty Bastard song, that inspired the Big Baby Jesus line.
Yo, Miami, yo, California, Northeast, West, and South, motherfucker. Yo, check this out, this the Dirt Dome. I'm here to make you scream. Big baby Jesus, I can't wait. Fuck that, I can't wait Big baby Jesus, I can't wait. Nigga, fuck that, I can't wait. Big baby Jesus, I can't wait. Nigga, fuck that, I can't wait. This song is Big baby Jesus, I can't wait. Nigga, fuck that, I can't wait. I ain't no actor, my shit's for real. Spy master, if I don't get paid $2 billion on Monday, I'ma bring on the Armageddon. Monday, fuck that feeling, this for real.
Rest in peace, ODB. That's a great record.
That both of those songs, though, that one and that Wesley Wills one, are just sort of, I'd say they're only about 10% more coherent than what we were doing.
Yeah, I mean,
with the appeal to you, obviously, but we could have, our music could have been taken more seriously than I assumed at the time.
If only one of us had been in the Wu-Tang Clan. Actually, production on that album was done. It was one of the first things that Pharrell Williams did with the Neptunes. So he produced that ODB album. Great song. But next up is a little song called Cheese in Space.
I believe I saw Pharrell Williams in Osaka train station one.
Really?
Yeah, I took a picture. I don't think it was on the fence, but I still think it was Pharrell Williams.
It's a partial Pharrell.
Yeah, with his big hat.
Cheese in Space?
Yeah, the best song on the album, I would say. Is that a pre-existing melody, or did you create that?
It's a sample of just a couple of chords, I think. Ding, 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 ding. So it's got a little drum machine on there and a sample of a guitar. It's a pop gem.
Yeah, audibly or musically, this one sounds the most like a song so far.
Oh yeah, it's a nice song. Can't go wrong with a couple of chords though. And that sample like really made it just like you sample 2 chords and just let it play. That's so good.
Yeah, I'd rather hear this on the radio than whatever Sheeran's putting out. Barely audible vocals is always good for a song. And there are some lines in this that sound like they could be lines from poetic songs or like serious songs. And All the Driving Wheels Couldn't Drive Me Away was my favourite one in there.
Well, are you familiar with the Rolling Stones song Wild Horses?
I am. Oh yeah. Not really similar.
No, but he says a line that might resonate with you. When Keith and Ron turn up, this is all getting us banned from YouTube anyway. All the wild turkeys couldn't drag me away.
Beautiful. That is a great. If we're gonna rip off a song, why not Wild Horses by Rolling Stones / whoever covered it that first time I heard it on Buffy / Susan Boyle.
Many years later. Cheese in Space, of course, is a computer game from the 1990s, I guess. And I guess it's one of yours.
It must be, but I do not remember this at all. Even upon seeing it, I don't have any recollection.
Yeah, no. It's an obnoxious sound.
What's Alan firing his air rifle into?
I just realised it's playing a Nirvana song, the theme tune, and I can see you every night, free, whatever. What's that one called?
About a girl.
Different. I don't wanna make you anything. Wanna miss you and wanna stay with you. I'm glad that it's right. You had me out to try. I can see you every night. Free. Something off Bleach, isn't it? I can't remember what it's called, but it's a great song.
It's called About a Girl, isn't it?
It is called About a Girl. You're right. Good job. PC Windows 3.1 game from 1996.
Yeah, no, I don't remember that at all. I remember Manic Miner.
Oh, it's a great one. Great, love Manic Miner.
Pre-Mario? No, I'm just sort of, no, it's probably around the same time where they all had
I think
blue
it's post
collar.
Donkey Kong.
Yep.
Post Donkey Kong, but pre any real Mario shenanigans.
Exactly.
This is one of the few ones that has Zaz interjections where you're telling me to stop.
Yes.
There's a lot of that on the O'Leary's album, but there's not much going forward.
No, I think the older I got, the more I respected live recording, I believe.
Got with it, you
Whereas
flowed
now,
with it.
Go back and take it out.
Exactly. Are you gonna take out Indian Man Zaz?
No.
Good. It was acceptable back then. We all have to live with our decisions in these albums. Next song. Do it again now. Go on. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Number 5, Do a Little Crimping. This is a keyboard cello sample that I'm just looping, and then there's some acoustic guitar. It's a sweet minor key, which you bring some jaunty, energetic vocals to. Do a Little Crimping.
Ready now. As soon as the music starts. Do a little crimping ahead. La la dee da. I do a little crimping ahead. La la dee da. I do a little crimping ahead.
That's a fun one. Do a little crimping and a little bit of my uptight directions at the beginning. Wait,
Only a bit.
We've got to get this perfect. Take 17.
This is the worst song on the album.
I love it.
I would say that this is our first improvised song as well, and I was probably in charge of the lyrics, considering it is just saying the word crimping a lot and then choosing to say la-di-da instead of thinking of anything else to say.
So the Crimpers was my band with Paul Static and Alistair at the same time, which means that it's likely that I suggested Do a Little Crimping as the...
I know the word crimping definitely comes from you, but I imagine you left me in charge of what else to say, so I just said that and la-di-da.
Maybe. Let's have a listen to some crimping.
Oh.
That was Crimp 82 by Rotter's Crimping, improvised crimp band. Also, crimping was something that came up on, what's it called?
Well, this is, I just sent you something now from what I remember. After Us, I will say. It was a Mighty Boosh word, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I kind of think that I'm not sure if my mate Paul took it from the Mighty Boosh. It might have been on their radio show because it was before the TV show. So I thought they'd got it coincidentally because they did a form music called Crimping. I wouldn't be surprised if he got it off their radio show. I think it's a Boosh reference.
Seems likely.
Sugar puffs, hop. Honey-coated puffs in a milky bath. Put them in your mouth and they make you laugh. Kept in the cupboard. Taken out for breakfast. Spoon's best friend and the fridge's favourite. Huff, puff, huff, puff, huff, puff, huff, puff. Wheaty chums that settle in transit. Golden pips of a sunshine princess.
Very nice.
Yeah, they responded by bringing on a honey monster live on stage and turning it back.
Very good. Oh, sweet, sweet culture. But we played our little part there with a little crimping ditty. And that brings us on to song number 6, The Dirty Chickens. Shall we have a listen to that?
Walking. Hello, this is King Nathan King, whatever.
Why is it so low? Why is it low?
Then the other right I'll take the button, but where shall I find your beautiful daughter? If we can possibly do it, we will. I will make beauty for you and a put on your palace of the air. I will be in said the autumn of 1842 was the season of see you hear your business, and Grace Darlington, we will come down with our shoe. All the lonely chickens, where do they all come from? All the lonely chickens, where do they all come from?
Dirty chickens. Is this the one with the stuff at the end?
And so
No. You were doing well. We'll do it again. We were doing alright until you came in and you stopped. You weren't.
We've got to go.
That's my favourite bit.
It's a bit harsh though, isn't it? It's
You say we were doing all right, and she angrily says, "No, you weren't."
She's right. She's right in many ways. We're doing all right, and stop. You said you were coming back at 2. I probably rocked up at like 7, and it was like, okay, we got to record this song now.
Were we?
But they were just out, and you had to go out somewhere. But I'd been out, and I'd like rocked back up way later than I was supposed to, and then insisted that we continued recording our masterpiece because the way we recorded this one, I remember, is just had the record player playing at full volume and us shouting over the top of it, I think.
Yeah, I have absolutely no recollection of this. I didn't know that we'd done any more Beatles tributes. Yeah, I don't remember. This is King Nathan and King Brendan, whatever. Is what I say.
Exactly. Because you see the music kicking in and you're like, I got to start reading this stuff. Some of those lines are from a Beatles biography. Like that was the first time I ever met John or something like that. But the autumn of 1840 something. So I think the lyrics had been somewhat changed. It was genius just to sing All the Dirty Chickens. And you didn't know the song, I'm guessing, either. So you were just singing along with me.
Until just now, up on like yesterday, hearing this, I was like, I didn't know that we'd done an Eleanor Rigby song. Well,
here's the original, not the Beatles version. Here's the Moog song that we actually just sung over. Marty Gold. I mean, it's exactly the same because we literally sang over the entire song. It wasn't even a sample, it was just the song.
Yeah, and it's in the same sort of, it's not changed that much from the original. Like we say, it's still the same melody, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's just they do all these Moog versions. But here's what happens. Me and Steve Jones, we had a band called J Fox, and we covered it when we were live at number 15 in Wigan.
Thank you.
So we played that gig live, me and Steve, and we had, I think Si was on drums from same band as Steve. And this drunk guy at the bar with no teeth, like a homeless dude, turned to us and said, "That's the worst thing I've ever heard." So we came off stage. That's just one of a run of Cockney Watchdogs covers by my band. That was the least successful one.
Nice. I'm looking forward to hearing the rest. Yeah, great song. I think the logical conclusion of this will to be at some point redo this album.
Oh yeah. They saw Cockney Watchdogs 1, redo it, but it's a foundation of bricks cut to bits. It's a great lyric.
That is a very good lyric. That sounds very Beatles, to be honest.
I lip sync to Elvis records and even get it into Stealing Cars, I think, or something like that.
No, you weren't.
No, you weren't. Everyone has these run-ins with their parents, but not everyone records them and puts them on albums.
No, that's the charm of the CWs, though. But just the smugness of the "no, you weren't," as if you can't possibly be believing that. Of course, you weren't.
I think it's more just a reaction to like she expected me to make a better defense of like, I'm sorry, I was trying to get back early. No, you weren't. But I was like, we were making a pop gem there. No, you weren't.
No, you weren't.
No, you weren't. Song 7, Evil Christmas. We got layered samples, lots of laughing, and a sample of Alanis Morissette's One Hand in My Pocket, I think.
Really?
I don't know, it sounds like that. Let's have a listen to Evil Christmas, capital E.
You like that? My name is Mr. Evil Christmas, capital E, Rudolph has a sight to see. Evil Christmas is the fashion coat from Christmas tree. Big bony face. Evil Christmas, capital E, Rudolph has a sight to see. Evil Christmas is it. Hey, wait a minute, hey, hey. Evil Christmas, capital E, Rudolph has a sight to see. Look with the Christmas list now to the back dancing through the window. Christmas capital E.
Yeah, there's a Alanis Morissette sample comes in at some point.
The very, very start of that sounds like Snoop. Is there a Snoop sample in there?
I don't know what the sample is. It's all layered, kind of a mess, like 5 or 6 things playing over the whole time, and like he's got samples of you laughing in there, and the drums sound really like footwork stuff. Now I didn't know footwork at the time. I love it as a kind of genre of weird music, but there you go.
Are you thinking of tap dancing?
No, it's called footwork. It's a Chicago dance thing.
Kevin Bacon.
Yeah. It has this kind of like really randomy style drums going on just like that. I'll chop most of that stuff out anyway, but I love it. It's a beautiful mess.
But yes, it was. That is a good description. I don't remember this one either, but I do like the through line of these albums, like Christmas and Jesus, etc.
A lot of early stuff was centered around Christmas and Jesus, for sure.
Was it at? It's probably close to Christmas time. If you'd been in America for the summer, it must be in the last couple of months of the year.
Yeah, I've got a feeling it was probably recorded around that time. Yeah. So moving on though to the next song, number 8, is Tom Cruise Blues.
Indeed.
Mix my underground, you make it higher. Now it's Tom Cruise. Sing a Tom Cruise. I can fly like a Tom Cruise. I'm beautiful. I can sing like a good Tom Cruise Blues. Tom Cruise with Sweet Man Blues. Tom Sweet Tom, Mr. Sweet Gun. Hey, who did that in? Got your legs. White.
Do the Batman.
It is Batman reversed. It is.
Is it reversed or just mixed up?
No, it's reversed. Hold on.
It is bold for a child who can't sing or play an instrument or keep rhythm to release multiple albums, I noticed.
It is very bold. I'd like to think that I played a part in inspiring you to release these records in batches of 1 and 2.
Yeah, inspired.
Of course, this is like the 2022 song. Like, I wonder if there's a reversed version of "Do the Bartman" on YouTube, and of course, there's like 6.
Yeah, people like to do everything that you can conceive, and I'd like to think we now contribute to that.
I think so.
I bet there's definitely not a podcast about Maud Flanders. Oh, there's like 64 episodes available.
Exactly. I bet nobody's ever done an in-depth review of these Cockney Watchdogs albums. Oh, no. Think again, sucker.
It would be odd if they had.
It'd be odd.
Even as a young child, I enjoyed references and callbacks.
Oh, yeah.
To other things. So I noted that. I just keep saying Mr. Sweetman in there and Evil Christmas.
References and callbacks is one of the through lines that continues to this day, as does finding mistypes things amusing. I am not a swayman, Mr. Womtam, is one of your lines. I'm finding it very funny.
It can't have even been mistyped at the time. It must have been handwritten wrong.
I don't know, because when we, on the Mother's Day birthday, we do a cover of My Hey Hey by Neil Young, and you sing Rock 7 Roll because it is tight. So I actually think
it's a good name for an album.
Rock 7 Roll is great. I say it all the time. I always say to people, Rock 7 Roll. So we covered this with my band, with our Kieran and Phil Ruby and Greg Taylor. We covered it with Dragon Bomb 2. Have a listen to our version of Tom Cruise Blues.
Come into my underground Jamaican hideout. Sing the Tom Cruise Blues. I can fly like a top gun. I am beautiful. I sing like a bird. The Tom Cruise Blues. Come into my underground Jamaican hideout. Sing the Tom Cruise Blues. I can fly like a top gun. I am beautiful. Sing like a bird. Yeah. Into the waxy high future. Come sing the Tom Cruise Blues. Hey, Mr. Womtown, where's your woman? 'Cause I'm Mr. Tom Cruise. Yeah, I'm Mr. Tom Cruise.
It's actually a great song.
Very good. Is that pre-White Stripe?
No, post White Stripes. So this would have been like 2000 and it was about 5 or 6 years after we did, but maybe 2006. So a good decade after the White Stripes.
Nice. It's very Jack Whitey.
Yeah, it is, but it was really just screamy, punky, rocky nonsense. And we actually did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered two, maybe even 3 Cockney Watchdogs songs on this album. It's a great one.
You should compile a Cockney Watchdogs covers album.
Yeah, they actually they tied it up real nice, real swell.
It's beautiful. My favourite thing about that, this is similar to Rock 7 Roll, how excitedly I say the word blues.
Yes, the Tom Cruise Blues. It's actually a great title, isn't it? So that brings us on to number 9.
Best title on the album.
Second best. What's the best? Cheese in Space?
The Stupid Dirty Christmas in Flatwash.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Number 9 is Honky Sausages.
Is Honky still okay?
I think so. Cows, pigs, horses, can we eat them? Cows, pigs, horses, no we can't.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very, I say eat some cheese instead at some point in many ways. I was the Greta Thunberg of 90s music. And then I wrote to Take That Ashes, which is a callback to the Cecil Cat. I think this is the most risk-taking so far of this album in terms of musically. I think this is the first one that's got more like, it's got like the cows, pigs, horses can eat them looped and stuff. And that was the first time I sort of noticed that. But the rest of it's been like looped samples and stuff, hasn't it? But not necessarily choruses and stuff.
It's the first one that's got looped vocals on it, I think. So there's been looped, a little bit of looping stuff in the background. This is the first one. I think everything on there is loops. And it sounds pretty cool.
It is, it's a good one.
Honky Sausages was a very short-lived BBC comedy in the 1990s that starred Mo from EastEnders.
Which Mo?
Chairman Mo.
Remember the time when Honky 2 got it into his head that he was the reincarnation of Pope Paul III? Please no. Yeah, hell of a job. Stop.
They're supposed to be like a Shameless style thing, but I think it's delivered in such a laid back manner. This clip's like 5 minutes long and nothing happens in the clip except for Mo from EastEnders who's talking to that Savile-esque chap.
Do you know who her real life brother is?
Mo? No.
Yeah, it is it's Hollywood actor Gary Oldman.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
It's one of the strangest facts I've ever learned.
I hope it's not true. But anyway, it's a great song, and Honky Sausages did not. It was supposed to be the most obscene family ever to grace the TV, but I don't think it really was. Shameless came along a few years later and showed it how to actually be obscene.
Yeah, the BBC as well did that sitcom where like a couple, like a Jewish couple, lived with Hitler, didn't they?
I don't think so, but that sounds like kind of BBC Three for like 7 minutes, 6 minutes. Oh, Jesus.
I've just sent you a photograph.
Oh, Gary Oldman and Mo from EastEnders together at last.
No, Hail, honey, I'm home. Was a British sitcom.
Oh God, Jesus!
It was cancelled after one episode. Considering that was released after I was born. The 8 episodes, 7 remain unaired.
Oh God. Let's move on to our next. Let's move on to our next song, Hotel Option.
The fully sweet screaming his grocer for giving him a dry apple. And little red sweet man was a giant fully sweet monster with huge Now let's talk about that hotel option. And there's at least 50 because it is the police saw people. He decided it was time to use one of his hotel options and blast.
So a nice little spoken word effort there. A little bit of beat poet.
I'd say this about this whole album, though, to be honest, upon re-listening, but it's way more similar with modern CW stuff than like albums 2 to 4. It's a lot of samples from other music and spoken word from me and sort of reverb and stuff.
I think 4 gets a bit more songy. What's that?
Who even needs to hear the lyrics in songs? Not us.
I remember he said something like Jive Apple as well, and the WOE. This is another thing that continues to this day, the abbreviation thing. We refer to the Wind of Earth as the WOE as throughout the entire song.
What is that?
The Wind of Earth, WOE.
Is Hotel California briefly playing at the start?
I don't know. It's got some backwards kind of samples going on, but here's the actual sample that underpins most of the song. It's from the Jazz Symphonics. So that's another one that places it after in kind of the winter of 1999. because I bought that album, the beginning by the Jazz Symphonics, and that song is a Weird Sisters. And again, basically, we just use the entire. Well, actually, no, there is a sample, but it's a long sample. It's like 30 seconds long. No, I really like this spoken word kind of thing. I think the songs come back thicker and fast. I think the 2 and 3 are mostly acoustic-y stuff, acoustic guitars and bongos again, and then I think samples and nonsense come back in on 4 a little bit.
And you said that, then I thought, my first thought was we didn't have any comics in the Cockney Watchdogs, but there is more than one meaning to the word bongo.
Exactly.
Briefly forgot that. Now let's talk about that hotel option. Is something I've heard a lot in my life from you. Is there any meaning behind it?
Not at all. I just love it. I just like the wonkiness of it. Now let's talk about the hotel option. I don't know what it means.
It is good.
There's a nice little story in there, and I think it's got a lot of the same themes we do now: space, nonsense,
spoken word.
It's all in there.
It's a Flanders away from being from this year.
Oh yeah. We could easily, it's all the same thing, isn't it? We haven't grown at all in any sense. Track 11, Juggamar. Juggamar on the move. Keep a Juggamar on the move. So I'm saying Juggernaut on the move, but you're saying Juggamar. I'm not sure.
I do like the word. I have absolutely no recollection of this at all, which made it one of my favourites because I had no memory of it whatsoever. It's a Juggamar on the moon, or on the move.
Who knows?
Because I do remember liking space as a child, so maybe that's that, and we've already got cheese in space. Is it Aphex Twin? Does it Come to Daddy?
Well, it's not Come to Daddy. That's a great one, and it was the same kind of era. But no, it's just a noise, probably from a keyboard.
It sounds like a sample of this.
I don't think it's
to me.
It's a sample.
My other note is this is. I was wildly terrified of this music video.
It's a great video.
The only thing I remember having an effect on me more than this was remember that Weird Al Jurassic Park song?
Oh yeah.
And in the music video, a T-Rex bites the head off Barney the dinosaur, and it looked a bit like a Twix. And I still, to this day, feel sick when eating a Twix because of the horror that gave me as a child.
Oh yeah, I have a similar one from when they ate Pigsy and Monkey Magic. Put me off a lot of things, including meat.
No, from what?
Pigsy, Monkey Magic. They ate Pigsy. It's a Japanese TV show based on the Chinese story of monkey. Let's hear him say "Come to Daddy." So that's clearly him just looking at the prodigy and saying, "Oh yeah, I can do what you did much, much better. Oh yeah, a fire starter, sure. How about this?"
Exactly.
Come to Daddy.
Took it a notch further.
He took it several notches further. Great song. Well done, Richard. And that brings us on to The Stars Are All Out Tonight, a highlight of the album.
Wow, good bad yo. The stars are all out tonight, twinkling crystal, sparkling spice girls, dancing Celine Dion, and dressing Fred Elliott. Yep, they're all right. Stars like Shane Richie, flowing drunk out of his car. Wow, good, y'all. We're all out tonight, and I don't care.
What a great song.
Great twist ending. They're all coming out tonight, and I don't care. It's whatever instrument this is, I like a lot, and I feel it's underused in music.
It's a melodica. It's the one where you have the tube and you play it like it's a keyboard, but it has a mouth tube that you blow into.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had a bunch of like for some reason, just in that era, I got all those instruments. Well, I know why, because I was in a rock and roll band and I was getting really bored of playing a guitar music, and so I got a sampler and a drum machine and a melodica, and the band disintegrated, sadly.
The stars that I knew as a child were Chris Tarrant, the Spice Girls, Celine Dion, Fred Elliott, Pinky and the Brain, the Powerpuff Girls, Cow and Chicken, Ed, Ed and Eddie, us, Anna and Kieran.
It's very good. I liked how each verse had a different group, but they were all connected.
Yeah, keeps it fresh. But yeah, no Simpsons, which I find to be odd.
Not a single Simpsons reference other than the Bartman thing in this album.
No, I think maybe this was teetering on the time of because I was clearly in a big Cartoon Network phase. So maybe the Simpsons comes around this time. It was always sort of on and around, but maybe this was that time where you were more into it than I was.
Into the Simpsons, possibly. The references are pretty much the same ones I'm making now, right? To be honest, if you swap out Shane Ritchie for Bradley Walsh, and it's pretty much the same thing. Wow, good God, y'all, James Brown reference.
I didn't know who Shane Ritchie was until he came into like EastEnders, maybe 6 years after this. So
Right.
My first thought of him was that when I saw him, was that he's the kind of person who falls drunkenly out of cars.
Exactly. I like the fact there's multiple self-references, so this continues to this day of us referencing ourselves over and over again. And
first mention of Anna.
Maybe, yeah. She becomes a major part of the next few albums.
She does.
This is another song we covered for the Dragon Bomb album.
Excellent.
Would you like to hear our version of The Stars Are Alright Tonight?
Yes, please.
Twinkling.
Tom Hanks.
Stars are all out tonight, twinkling.
Tom Hanks.
Sparkling.
Ralph Macchio.
Twinkling.
Zombie Richard Whiteley. Jerry
Stars
Halliwell.
are all out tonight, twinkling.
Morgan Freeman.
Sparkling.
Fred Dibner.
Twinkling.
Matt Damon.
Stars like shame, falling drunk out of his car. Oh, good God, y'all.
Paul Hardcastle. Bobby Ball. I thought you knew it was Hardcastle. John Craven.
That was Greg Taylor. Most of the ridiculous ones are Greg Taylor, but it's Kieran and Phil Rigby as well, and me.
I noticed Phil Rigby. The only person whose voice I didn't recognise was Kieran.
He sounded like you, or me.
I thought one of them sounded a lot like Beef, but it might have been Phil Rigby.
But it's testament to these songs that with a very small change, we were able to make them into like good songs on the album.
Even Jerry Halliwell made it into both.
Yes.
There is an Arctic Monkeys song called Black Treacle, in which the chorus is "The stars are coming out tonight."
Nice. Does it sound like ours?
No, not as there's more Tarrant bashing.
Well, I mean, we've still got a sponsor in our thing about Chris Tarrant.
Somebody told the stars you're not coming out tonight.
I like Arctic Monkeys. That's not one of the best, though.
That's off the album that people don't like, but I quite like, called Humbug, I think, which is like the slower one.
Yeah, good band. Well done, lads. And I like the next song is Nathan's song Spectacular, another spoken word, not a story this time, more exposition.
Yes.
Let's hear that one. Let's hear what Nathan has to say for Nathan's song Spectacular.
Nathan's song Spectacular. Nathan is here today to tell a story of making songs like Cubing Space with Big Bro Brandon. Our first song was called Cheese in Space. I sung the chorus one. Cheese is good, cheese in space is better, but red laughter is even better. We got the name from the computer game, which was called Cheese in Space. Our next song was Dirty Christmas. It's called Dirty Christmas. The chorus went, happy, slappy pie, it really stands to commit no crime. We made the name up ourselves. Brenda wanted it to be called I Hate Dirty Christmas, in fact I hate dirty, but I thought that was stupid. The next song was called The Stars Are All Out Tonight. The chorus went, stars like Shane Richie fall and dunk out of his car. Wow, good dad, wow. We made the name up ourselves. It didn't mean stars in the sky, it meant TV stars.
That's the best line. Brenda wanted to call it something. I thought it was stupid. It didn't mean stars in the sky, it meant stars on TV.
This is sort of vaguely like what Kanye West did on his first album as well, like spoken word interludes in between songs.
There's a Todd Rundgren song on one of his albums that I can't find, but he basically, he in the middle of his album, he just starts talking about how people don't produce their songs well enough and how his studio is really great. I couldn't find it.
It's essentially what we're doing right now as well,
yes.
Which is quite meta. My favourite thing that I said in it was we got the name Cheese in Space from a video game called Cheese in Space.
Not enough people spend time explaining their songs in the album and then do a podcast years later to explain the song that explained the song.
Exactly. And it's the only song on the album with the word song in the title, and it's the only song on the album that's not a song.
Oh, sweet irony. It brings us to the last song of the album, which is Saint Theodore. Oh, actually, it's not the last song, is it? No. Penultimate song.
Bombs, golden jewels, up for slaughter. My horse is 43 feet long. Give me friends. My cat is 35 feet long. So tell me how you like your blue-eyed boy, St. Nicholas. Then Deborah, then Theodore. A birds of bunches that are falling on the floor.
My timing's got slightly better for the core, coming in at the right time.
That's very good. Play the end bit where you go off. The track stops and you just go for it. It's brilliant.
Thank goodness it's not the Spice Girl, the thick. Christ as a lamb chop, Christ as a monkey, Christ as a fruitcake, built as a scarecrow, covered in tar, burn it down.
I remember getting in trouble for that.
I got in a little bit of heat from the old ladies for getting my 9-year-old brother to say Christ as a monkey, Christ as a lamb chop, Christ as a fruitcake. Well, that's a reference to Jean-Michel Basquiat here. If you see this, here it says, pay for soup, build a fort, set that on fire.
Nice.
This is like,
is it that Vienna song?
It means nothing to me.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of.
No, this is the actual sample. It's a sensational Alex Harvey band sample. So that's it, but it reminded me, the reason why I liked that sample is because it reminded me of the opening to Psychomania, my favourite campy horror movie of all time. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, so that was the sample of the sensational Alex Harvey band, Sirocco.
Nice. was also very good. I did write that the music was more passable, so that makes sense. At some point I say Christ on my trigger, which is a great passable real song lyric.
Yeah, I think these are I think the entire song is just a set of lyrics that I had for a band, because this is the band version of it. Yeah, so that's the same lyrics, but I think the Cockney Watchdogs version is great, maybe even better.
Probably. My cat is 35 feet long.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that refers to, but How Do You Like Your Blue-Eyed Boy is a line from an E. Cummins poem.
I did notice Christ buries witches as well or something.
Yeah, it's good. I quite like the lyrics. They're pretty good. I like the end where we get to see the celebration after our tussles. There's lots of clapping and laughing, and I think just like the end of the podcast, I think most of our songs ended with us clapping. But I think a lot of that gets cut off.
It was a different time where we couldn't record things separately either, so things probably overlapped at some point.
Yeah. Well, that brings us to the last song, which is Stupid Dirty Christmas in Platoise. Let's have a listen.
Number 7. Christmas, stupid, dirty Christmas. Jerky children shouting, yeah, shouting, yo. There's a baby like the one hit by a cane. Happy, nappy, slappy, tiny. It's really time to commit more fun. Happy, nappy, slappy, tiny. Really time to commit more fun. Let's see. Let's steal, come and go. Joyriding. Why do they call it joyriding? Because it is fun. Yes, fun. Yes, fun. Yes, very out. Very fun. It is evil for me. You me. Christmas is jerky. William Kirby's very good. He lives in the green grocery store. And William Kirby's very good. He lives in the green grocery.
It reminded me, like, when those rappers, like, they have like a fake laugh at the end, but like none will finish with like a minute of hysterical laughter.
It is good. It's a very joyful ending for a Christmas song.
Yeah.
It's title. You don't really sing a lot on this album, I noticed.
No. Most of it's your singing, which is good. I think in the O'Leary's album and this one, there's more of your singing, but as it balances up, and then we settled into the one line each thing at some point.
Yeah, pretty soon.
Nice cheery keyboard, some nice tape hiss, and it's a really fun kind of up-tempo song.
It is. It's a good way to end an album. It's holding a lot of. No one really does Christmas songs that are negative.
It's cynical to be cliched at Christmas.
Just us and that, whatever those two women were.
The cheeky song. Touch My Bum, This Is Life.
That's the one.
Let's Steal a Car and Go Joyriding. Why do they call it joyriding? Because it's fun. Yes, fun. That was one that the O'Leary parents were not overly happy about when they heard that. Considering that at that time it was still a career choice for you.
Yes. I still don't think I knew what it meant, probably.
This bit at the end where, again, you just liked playing around with language, both those ending heavy is metal. You went through in this where you reversed the words and said heavy is metal, stupid is Christmas.
That's got like the fake Russia thing, like Soviet Russia.
I don't know, just like we do at the end of the podcast where we sing the mistyped words. It's the same thing, just joy in misspoken English and abbreviations and references to Christ and TV
it's got it all.
It's quite beautiful.
Because I also, when I listened to it yesterday, thought the bit at the beginning where our mum shouts me was happening in real time.
Right.
I almost did it again then.
It is hard when you get people's voices on there and you don't know if they're in the real world or in the past, and that's 22 years ago. 22 years into the past. DRR4. So go on Bandcamp and buy yourself a copy of the King's Royals CD.
Only $5.
Only $5. You do get an a cappella version of Saint Theodore as your bonus track.
4, 3, 2. Oh, tell me my heart, Christ in my belly.
I think that's plenty. Well, thanks.
It's also not a cappella.
What's that?
It's not a cappella. It's just the music just quieter.
You can't have everything, can you? So there you go. That's it. 2 episodes into our spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off. Our 4th spin-off. I hope you enjoy it, listeners.
Enjoy. Bye.
Bye.